With a gigantic country that is the United States, we sometimes forget just how much you can experience here. But there are a lot more experiences to be had in the United States of America. And to give you a more detailed insight into the specifics of Arizona, we're here to answer those questions with the top 10 amazing travel tips for this one of a kind state. So buckle up your seatbelts, get ready for an adventure to Arizona. Tip number 10: stay hydrated. Don't fuss around, bring a reusable water bottle anytime you visit Arizona. Keep yourself hydrated and refill your bottle throughout the day. The intense summer heat can be brutal for anyone, and it's super easy to get dehydrated. Don't count on there being convenience stores nearby to grab yourself a bottle of water. Just remove the hassle and bring your own. You'll be glad you did. Tip number 9: don't skip out on culture. With a staggering amount of cultural heritage sites, Arizona is most certainly not lacking on the culture. The Native American sites are sure to get you interested in the history of the state. Currently, with 22 Native American tribes, Arizona is filled with the ruins waiting for you to discover them. Each heritage site is almost completely different from one another and full of history. Tip number 8: plan your Grand Canyon trip in advance. If you're planning to visit one of the natural wonders of the world, be sure to prepare for it accordingly. Even if it's just for a day hike, be sure to book your lodgings early on, not just the week prior, even months before your actual trip. You'll be glad you did, because it can get very difficult to get everything ready on the fly. Tip number 7: transportation is a must. No matter where you're going to stay in Arizona, you will definitely need a car to get around. Towns and other spots can be quite far from each other, and public transportation is scarce. So do yourself a favor and get your transportation ready. It'll save you time and money. You just don't want to be Ubering everywhere. Tip number 6: skip the small towns. Don't bother thinking about having the old town mentality and mindset. They're most probably going to let you down anyway. Most of the small towns here in Arizona are primarily filled with gimmicky tourist shops without much of anything else to do. You visit Arizona for the great outdoors. Hiking, camping, and treks are the best way to experience this amazing state, and they're definitely worth the trip here. Tip number 5. It's not just desert. When you think of Arizona, what's the first thing that pops into your head? We're pretty sure the answer would be cacti, high temperatures, sand, and sun. But it's actually not all desert. So be sure to know where you'll be heading in Arizona. Check the topography of the area and get ready for what comes your way. If you're heading into north of Phoenix, you'll get into a higher elevation fast and the temperatures are much lower. Tip number 4. Get ready to get dirty. It won't matter what time of year you plan on visiting Arizona. You can almost guarantee the amount of dirt you'll be accumulating here while you enjoy the scenery. If you're hiking in the summer, you will definitely end up being covered in a lot of dust, with the rest of the year being either muddy, snowy, or somewhere in between. So just be sure to pack a lot of clothes or anything you don't mind sweating in and can be cleaned relatively easy. Tip number 3. It's going to get dark. Now what that means is, Arizona is a dark sky state. And that means there are regulations in place to limit the amount of light emitted by street lamps at night. This makes it super easy to gaze into the stars and just admire the night sky. So take advantage of it by visiting an observatory or go stargazing on your own. Supposedly, you can also see Jupiter, Mercury, and Mars on a clear night. Tip number 2. Be ready for wildfires. Outdoorsy type people, this one's specifically for you. When you go out and about on your camping trip, be sure to check for any fire watches. A lot of areas in Arizona are prone to wildfires and they will have signs along the road that indicate what risk of fire in that area is. Some areas will have red flags, meaning a small campfire could potentially spread and inflict intense damage. Be prepared when you go camping and take the time to put out your fire properly. Even if you aren't going camping, just be sure to see the wildfire status of the area you're going to visit. Remember, safety should be your number one priority. Tip number 1. Be ready for all weather. Although this tip is more generic than most, and it can go into any list honestly, but you really have to be ready for any kind of weather in Arizona. The state comes with extreme weather. In the summer, it's insanely hot and you might even encounter dust storms. The fall is monsoon season, and you really never know what's going to come your way. Double check, if not triple check, the weather reports before you leave for Arizona. And be sure to pack carefully. With an endless list of destinations and activities and experiences this wonderful state has to offer, each and every journey will always fill you with something different and unique. Were there any other traveler tips we haven't mentioned? Comment down below and we'll be sure to check them out. What are you waiting for then? Gather your travel buddies, buckle your seatbelts, and get ready for an adventure. And with that, until next time.